I'm working on a record right now, so I figured why not go live and share it with you guys, right? So the first thing you need to mix a good record is you need coffee. Because mixing is tedious and it's long, arduous work, okay? It's not like it gets very creative, but a lot of it is just kind of fixing problems and fixing bad records, bad samples, bad recordings, etc. Luckily enough for you guys today, this record doesn't have too many things that are recorded bad or produced bad. So I always start my record kind of from the ground up. I always start my mix from the ground up. So that means drums, 808, my sub, my foundation, and I'm working on a trap record right now. So I'll just kind of show you guys a few things that go into my process. I'm not going to show you everything because this is actual client work, and I don't want to, take away from that. And this is not a tutorial. This is just basically me showing you mixing a record, right? So right now I'm just working on the kick in 808 and just trying to get that vibe for this trap record, get it bouncing, get it fat and thick. I felt like the 808 wasn't really thick enough, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on the drums. Okay, so that's a little trick I use a lot of the times. I use I don't always use this. I actually never use this this little Labs Voice of God on the 808. It's in demos, you can see, but a lot of the times I'll use other sub-bass stuff like Max Bass from Waves, or there's a really good plugin that I love in the Plugin Alliance bundle that is pretty amazing, and it's the BX Digital sub bass. Which is a sub synth bass, which I think is really, really dope for this. There's also Vitamin R, I think it's called, from Waves, that works really well for this stuff. But when your 808 doesn't have that sub in it, you got to put the sub in the 808. Sorry, you can't get away with a modern trap record not having a 808 sub in there. So all of my drums go through a drum mix bus, which looks like this. I have a send for a louder and a transformer. Okay, and this is basically parallel compression, and then this is going to be a transformer that's, kind of something I designed that gives it more slap, more transients, stuff like that. But I have those bypassed right now. And then my drum mix bus goes through my drum master bus, which has R bass on it, has a Shadow Hills mastering compressor, which is amazing for some harmonics. I have a gate here because I don't want, when no drums are playing, all that noise to come through. So you got all these plugins. And the black box designs is pretty awesome as well. So I have that in there. And the BX Digital. The BX Digital right here is just going to give me some mono maker, which I really love to put really, really sub stuff, like 50 hertz and below sort of thing, directly in the center, and just keep it in the center. That's what it's doing. And then there's some stuff like I'm dipping out 2K because I find that always starts to hurt the ears, and 439, but that's not always on every case. And then I'm just stereo widening a little bit as well on the drums. So I'm gonna get these drums going. I got a kick 808 clap. On the kick, I'm doing some compression to make it just hit a little bit harder. I'm boosting this 40, but I'm actually going to back up on that just a little bit because I'm putting that into the 808 now, sub stuff. And then kick parallel. Kick parallel is going to be API 2500 followed by an EQ P1A Pultec. Just kind of giving it some oomph, and I don't really need anything up here. So sometimes just turning on a Pultec just makes everything sound better. Right, so that's what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna bring in these claps and the snare, and this is how I always start a mix. I want to get the drums bumping and getting to a certain point. So I like that. I think the clap definitely needs like some good slap in it. Really basic, man. I'll like just give it a little compression, And we'll go attack, like keep it where it's still letting the transient through, release really fast, maybe hold on to it a little bit because it's a clap, and let's just start to get it to snap a little bit more. Right? Super basic, but it helps that clap kind of pop up. What's up, Castro? How you doing, bro? Glad you're here, man. You asked for this, man. I'm doing a live mix session for you. So, yeah, so I got my drums going. Just going to start getting this clap snare. Let's pop these hi-hats in. Hi-hats, probably going to be like that trap hat, 8th notes kind of vibe. So I know right away, just my ear and my experience with this is that those hi-hats are going to be way too brittle, and they're going to take up the vocal range. And this has a female rapper on it, so there's no way that we're going to get away with that hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Lo-Fi, which I think is an incredible plugin just to soften things, soften up some of that, like, you know, top stuff that really starts to get really annoying. So saturate, I just like literally give it a 0.1 or a 0.2, and then I can mess around with the sample rate and the distortion. Let's check this out. Okay, gets the hi-hats out of the vocal range. Really important to, you know, kind of roll it out. Nobody likes those hi-hats when they're just in your ears. As much as you might think that as a producer, nobody likes it. Sorry. Nobody likes you. Just kidding. I like you. Oh, yo, what's up, Rod? How you doing, man? So right now I'm just kind of getting these drums going, right? Like I might use this Pro Q3, you know, to do something crazy like this, like just basically, I mean, this isn't crazy, but you know, just sweep out this stuff down here. Like the hi-hats have nothing down there, right? So I don't want, like for example, Lo-Fi might bring in harmonics and bring in stuff at the bottom, so I want to sweep that out. Save voltage always. I'm also just going to like have the hats kind of pan off a little bit. I feel like they want to go a little bit off center, right? And then hats too. Let's hear these. This looks like an open hat. Yeah, so we're not going to get away with that cymbal either. I think that's just really obnoxious. And let's try actually lo-fiing this cymbal. I'm also going to just pop it into a room a little bit, right? I don't think I need the EQ on here. Sometimes I just have an EQ on there. Just, you know, I have people set it up for me. You know, my guy Marco, he's my my assistant. He'll set up the session for me. He'll throw on like my favorite plugins to use, and that way I don't have to keep opening up plugins. But in Pro Tools, it actually makes it pretty easy for you. So here I'm going to pop in a Valhalla room, just to give it just a little bit of room on this, and I think it'll be nice. It'll kind of tuck it back so it's not so featured. Okay, so drums are obviously a massively important part of a record, and it's just like something I'll work on for so many hours, right? But let's start to kind of carve out some of this stuff with the Pro Q on these drums, because they'll start getting really chunky, and I got to be really careful with that, because I don't want to give too much to these. So let's go kind of back up off this stuff. I like it, but you know, and let's pop the saturation in and just give it a little tiny bit of saturation here. Okay, so here's another thing. This actually has a bass guitar in it and an 808. Okay, so that's really, really important that you start to understand how to work 808s and bass guitars together, right? So really, really, really important. What's up, Lauren? How you doing, bro? It's good to see you in here. Just mixing a record live. You know, some people think this will be boring as hell. So you know, feel free to leave if you're one of those people. This is not a tutorial. I'm just kind of showing you some work as I'm doing it, right? Like this is a client work piece that I'm working on. So I figured, hey, let's go live and show you guys some stuff. And so with this bass guitar, the first thing I noticed right away is that it just needs it needs to be held together, right? And it also needs to stay 100% out of that 808 range. Which is kind of interesting, because what we have here is we have an 808 that's like very transient. And if I look throughout the session, you have this very transient 808. You don't have any notes that are really being held by the 808 until we get, let's see what we got here. Let's listen to this real quick. Okay, so really important that you let that 808 speak on the low end, but I'm starting to feel like the bass actually needs low end as well. We can't just diminish the bass, because the bass is also playing longer notes than the 808. So this is a really important part of arrangement when it comes to mixing. I'm going to pull this bass actually up to where the 808 is, just so I can really get that relationship right, because anytime someone like a producer decides that they're going to put an 808 and a bass in a track, you got to be really careful, man. You got to know what you're doing. And you guys, this is why you work with professionals. You don't let the homie do it, right? They're like, oh yeah, everything needs bass in it, bro. That's a bass, that's an 808. We just pop a bunch of bass in there and just let it just smash. Okay, we got some shimmer on here. It looks like there were some plugins already on here. What I want to do is I want to bypass these plugins, because, you know, fuck that. I was hired to mix this record, not you, right? And also, fuck your demo. Like, if you guys ever really like hire a mix engineer, why are you like, dude, make it sound like my demo? Mix it yourself. You know, what do you want a mix engineer, someone that's spent their whole lives getting mixing and mastering down to an art and a science? Why would you hit them up and be like, can you make it sound like my demo? Fuck your demo, you know? Go mix your own self and chase your non-existent music career. Yeah, shade thrown. Pew, pew, pew. Shots fired. So yeah, I'm bypassing that because I want to see what that's doing and why this bass is in stereo. And maybe like the concept that I try to pull from people's demos and people's production is not to sit here and be like, yo, that's the bad move and that's the wrong move. Sometimes it's just to go, why did you have this on here? Why did you have a Valhalla shimmer, and then why did you have a center that was pushing the highs into the sides? Well, I think it's pretty obvious, right? It's like you want the bass guitar to be playing in the sides, and you want the 808 to be in the middle, right? So things that we can do to make that happen is, first of all, you can just turn on, mono, like put the 808 more in the center rather than like putting the bass guitar into the sides. Does not make sense? I mean, I think it makes a ton more sense to focus the 808 and the sub directly in the center rather than like trying to spread this bass guitar and make it sound all fucking weird, right? Like it could get totally out of phase and have a bunch of phasey issues. So that's just something I don't want to deal with. So why not go in and use a tool to mono the 808, like put all the low stuff in the center, right? And same thing with the bass guitar, like just put everything on the sides, because that sounds like and looks like what this person, what this producer was trying to do. So I want to accentuate that idea, and I want to do it properly. I want to do it from a mixing engineer's perspective. I'm not producing this record, so the best part about that is that I have this outside view of the record that says, hey, I'm going to do something my own way and my own artistic way, where I'm completely focused on making your ideas come to life and speak the right way, which you kind of had in your head, but you weren't really able to get together because you're really like a beat maker or a producer, and you're not necessarily a mixing engineer. You don't think about sonics all day long. I can actually take those ideas and I can really solidify those ideas. Okay, so that's really important to mixing. And I just wanted to have a little side note there, side conversation with you guys. Okay, so BX Digital makes some amazing plugins, but all we're gonna do is we're just gonna throw on V2 here, and we're gonna use this mono maker, and we're gonna pop in all the 808 and sub stuff, all the way up to like maybe even 300, 330, fuck it, right? And we're gonna bring that all into the center, okay? Here we go. Okay, so now we know he's trying to get the bass guitar out of the center, okay? So we're gonna use different tools. We don't wanna use these center plugins and all that shit. What I wanna do, first of all, I wanna clean up the low end and make sure that it's not overlapping with the 808. And I also think that a really good move here would be to duck the bass when the 808 hits. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start treating this bass so that I can make sure it sounds good, because there's really no point in getting it out of the way of the 808 or doing weird effect stuff if the bass sounds like shit. Straight up, right? You need things to sound good. All right, so that's that. I'm going to go in and I'm going to just give it some sauce here on the Fatso. Empirical Labs Fatso Junior we'll use, and we'll just give it some harmonics and just make it sound a little bit more lively, a little more 3D, and a little bit more like a live bass, because it doesn't really sound that way to me. And let's just hit some of these presets and get as close as we can, and then I tweak the preset basically. Okay, now we have a bass guitar that sounds pretty good, right? It doesn't sound just like a MIDI instrument or something. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw on a little bit of a cheat code, but really you can do this with anything. We're going to use track spacer, and we're actually going to use the track spacer on the bass guitar so that we're going to send a bus. We're just going to say new track. and we're going to send this stereo bus just basically to the track spacer. What's up, dude? So I'm going to say sidechain kill. Here he is. So at this point, like, all I'm doing is I'm just like creating a send that I can send 100% to, and I can kill this sidechain because I don't want it coming into my mix. Basically, I'm not trying to like refeed it back into the stereo bus. I'm just using it so that the track spacer can see it over here on the sidechain, right? So all we're going to do here is we're going to go to a key input, and we're going to go to this sidechain kill. It doesn't matter. You could pick left or right. You could do a mono, augs. It doesn't matter. It's just still going to see the signal, right? So there you go, stereo. That's sending, and we have 100% going to this. And then this track spacer, I want it to duck this sub range every time the 808 hits. Okay, nothing crazy. Just like this area right here. And then if you click this button here, we can open up maybe some more quicker attack, right? Like really fast attack. And then we can figure out the release to make sure that it's going like really just bounce with the rhythm, right? So that's the really important part of this. And then I'll show you what this sounds like. We're just going to duck it basically. So now every time that 808 is hitting, we're just basically ducking the sub frequencies of the bass guitar. So we're not losing a lot of that intonation and stuff that's happening in the mid-range of the bass guitar, but we are not like building up that low-end frequency stuff that's going to cause a lot of clipping on the master bus, right? So another thing I'm going to do with the bass guitar is I'm actually going to bring it through the drum mix bus, so it's saturating and stuff with everything, and just hear what this sounds like. Okay, so that's starting to work better together now. And the next thing I want to do is I just want to have like a little bit of more saturation than distortion on this bass guitar, something to just kind of give it a little bit of fuzz so that it kind of sits right and it feels, it just feels like a little bit better in the mix. Like it's just a little softer, a little more harmonic, you know, settling in. I don't really know how to explain that, but yeah, so basically I'm just going to use like a exciter here. Ozone 9 makes a great exciter, and we can go into that 140 area because that's really what we're focused on with the bass. And we'll go like in here, and we'll make another one here, and we'll say like in this area where the warmth and the soul is of this bass, we're going to start to just give it a little bit of saturation. Maybe it's warmth, maybe it's tube, maybe it's analog, I don't know. Let's just try it and see what we got. Okay, so I also noticed my assistant set up a master augs, which has a couple plugins on it, which I don't want on it right now, right? So I'm gonna get rid of these, so I'm not getting tricked into thinking that it's better than it is. And I'm gonna mute and unmute and make sure my routing's good here. So it's funny, like with trap records, R&B, anything that really has like a beat to it, I literally just will work on the drums and the 808 and the bass and like the foundation for like hours. Like I'll spend an hour, two hours, just like literally straight up just working on this part of it and getting this really tight. And then I'll pop on the master bus. Like I'll start to process the master bus the way that I like it. And typically what I want to do for my master chain, I'm just going to build it out for you guys. I do have a preset already chain that I usually use and I would just open up, but I'm going to build out a chain that I would really use on this specific track. And it would start with, I think the Townhouse bus compressor. I think this would be great. SSL style, real tight, real like just kind of glue. Right? And I would keep the attack pretty open. So 10, 30. I don't want to like attack too quick on a master bus. 2 to 1 is great, or 4 to 1, depends. Release, usually I want it as fast as possible. And then I might mix in some stuff here, but I'm going to get a little bit of level going with this. Just little tiny bit of level, right? That's what we want from that. And the next thing I'm going to throw on here is the BX3. So this is just the V3 is like something I use a lot on mastering, and I think a lot of mastering engineers do. I think just because it's such an awesome plugin. But this is mono mid-side, so you have the middle and you have the side. That's all that is. And I'm going to widen it out just a touch, not anything crazy right now, like 112 is cool. And I'm going to look around the bottom and stuff, but for now I'm just basically turning this on. I'm not really doing much with it. I just want it on. I want it here as a tool. And then the next thing I want is once I start to give a little bit more wider and I start to, tighten things up or whatever, now I want to like compress again or hold things back together again. And for this track specifically, what I'm thinking would be like a really great thing to hold it together is going to be a massive, a manly, right? A variable mu. So variable mu, I think this is just going to be really good to like put on a very simple preset. I don't want anything crazy here. I'm just going to be tickling it, but let's just give it like a stereo bus compression. You can have master bus compression. I don't care what it is, but so far we're not really doing much. Let's see if this is even moving the needle. You got to be really careful with this plugin because just pay attention to what it does when I start to push the input, because what you're doing is you're pushing the tubes. You're saturating the tubes when you push the input. So it'll distort really quick. Like, check this out. And here's the thing that can be really deceiving at this point in your mix is if you start pushing everything and you start grabbing a bunch of gain and stuff, you're going to trick yourself into thinking that things sound a lot better than they do, right? Because loudness and perceived loudness is what we just think sounds better, right? Whether it is better or not. So our mix can fall apart by trying to get to the finish line so quick, right? So I'm just putting my master bus on so I have stuff that I know I'm going to be mixing through anyway. So the next thing I want to do is I got a variable mu here. I want to start to widen a little bit. And I don't think like, I don't know, this track may not need this, but I'm just going to pop it on just in case I do need it, because I'm just making a chain, just making a mastering chain. But I'm going to pop on this guy. I'm going to put it into mid-side master mode, and I'm just going to back off on everything and kind of set this up how I know that it's going to sound good for me and my ears and how I like it. So I'm going to do it in the mids, do that drive like here, level here, and we'll go here. And remember, I don't have any vocals in or anything, so I'm just not going to be setting much of this up for, you know, too much of anything. All right, and then from there, I want to start cleaning this up a little bit. So I have this Sound Theory Gullfoss. It helps separate. I need to turn this on because there's a lot of like sub frequencies in this. So I'm just filtering out the top and the bottom. So that's all I'm doing here, right? And then I'll boost, give it a little smiley face. I'm just like, this is like typical stuff, guys, just so you know. Like, I'm just setting up a chain that I want to mix through, that I already know how it sounds because I've done this a million times. Maybe not a million, but pretty close to, you know, thousands of times, basically. All right, so Gullfoss, and then that's going to clean it up. So let's start to then give it a little bit more, you know, let's do an inflator just to have it on. I'm not doing shit with this, guys. Like, just remember, I'm not like doing much. This is very, very basic stuff. I'm not going crazy. All right, and then after the inflator, I want to have a, I want to do a little tiny touch of limiting and getting things kind of level, right? So DMG audio is a great one. It's a transient limiter as well. So I'm just going to make this pretty quick. And I'm going to give this a ceiling, and I'm going to just kind of go a little tiny touch there. And then after limitless, I'm going to give myself some isotope just for my final mastering limiter, but also to have some plugins on here that I know I could use at the final stages, right? So I'm not going to do anything here. I'm just going to go same thing, give it a ceiling, give it just tiny bit of compression here. And yeah, I'm going to take this to be a little bit faster. And let's turn on the transient emphasis just to give it a little bit of that and a little bit of sustain in the stereo. And there we go. So let's start popping the drums through here, and then we'll pop the vocals in, because that's how you mix a rap record, straight up. So another thing I want to do is I think this bass needs more compression, just to like, so it's not moving at all, right? So here I can go like 3-to-1 or so, and we'll make this bass just really get compressed. We want to smash it. I don't want it moving at all. Okay, so let's make sure that this 808 isn't spanking too much on the harmonics and the bass doesn't feel detached from the 808. I want those to glue together. That's a really, really important aspect of this record to me. Okay, other thing that's happening with the 808 that is really bugging me is like certain notes will pop off and they just like hit way harder. And I fucking hate that. Like it shouldn't be doing that, right? So multiband compressor is just going to figure out those parts that are like, oh, that's too much. Like what's happening there, right? Pro Q3, if you're not like, you know, really good with your ear, you can check out those areas on the actual visualizer and kind of figure out what those are. Okay, so we want to still like keep this ghetto, keep this hood, you know what I mean? Like we can't go and like make this a really clean pop track. It's going to sound stupid, right? And you'll see why once I start bringing in the vocals. Like if it gets too clean, it's going to sound whack. Sorry. Like I've mixed hundreds of trap records. You cannot like make shit too clean. If you make it too clean, too perfect, too, you know, not floppy, not fucked up, like you're going to take away from the actual track. You're not going to add to it. All right, so that bass is sounding really cool. I think it could use like just a little bit more like sparkle in the mid-range sort of thing, and that can actually happen probably if we just mess around with this this Spatial here, just to give it a little more harmonics here. You know, just like open it up a little bit more. It sounds way, way, way better. And this track spacer is really saving our lives right now, I'm telling you. All right, so I want to like actually back off that so it's not pumping so much. That's really important that we don't have this pumping and let's release a little bit quicker. I'm just hearing like the bounce of the track, you know what I mean? And that 808's pretty quick. It's a lot quicker than I thought it was. So that bass guitar sounded really cool. Now, what we want to do is sort of solidify the idea that he had, was to, you know, spread it out and get it out in the sides more. There's a really cool thing about FabFilter EQ is that we can actually do, I mean, I use a lot of FabFilter, right? Like, I'm addicted to this shit because it's just like, it's all about workflow for me, right? So let's save voltage always, right? Cut this stuff out. And let's go into the 140 area, right? And let's turn this into side, right? And we can do mid and we can do side, or we can go like this and turn it into middle, right? And we could say, I want this in the middle, and I actually want to take out this stuff out of the middle, and then we can add this kind of top stuff into the sides, right? Really, really cool. And we can actually make this a shelve, right? So we can go shelving, and we can just take that low stuff, that's the sub and stuff, and we can put that out of the middle, and then we can also kind of start to you know, pop some other stuff into the sides. So let's go like stereo placement is sides. In the sides, we want maybe a little bit more of that, like 800 of the bass. I don't know. Let's check it out. Pretty cool, right? Like, it just automatically kind of makes the bass a little bit more stereo, but it also keeps it out of like that big bottom where that 808 is hitting, right? So we're getting out of the way. What's up, Philip? How you doing, man? Nick, appreciate you, bro. It's good to see you guys in here. If you guys have any questions as I'm going, you know, drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer stuff. So this bass guitar, now we're starting to like push it out to the sides a little bit more. Let's do it. You know, one thing that we can do that might be a really cool vibe is to start to push even more harmonics of kind of the low mids of the bass into the sides, which I think could be a really, really dope idea. But to do that, I'm going to use this plugin by Isotope, which is like an oldie, but it's a damn goodie. It's a damn goodie. Let me see it. Where is it? I'm looking for Alloy here. Ozone. Isotope Alloy 2, all right? So the cool thing about Alloy 2 is that we can use, I hate that these plugins need updating, you know? But we can use this EQ, or we can use the dynamics, or we can use the exciter, all in multiband, which is really dope. Because then we can take, like, for example, this 100 to like 500, 800 sort of area that we really like in that bass, where the body is. And we can start to kind of drive it, give it a little distortion, you know, which is going to give us a little bit of vibe, but you can also widen it, right? Which is really, really dope. So check this out. Right, so now we got like this bass is starting to kind of like pop into the sides a little bit. It almost sounds like it's kind of in reverb almost, you know what I mean? And that's kind of I think the vibe that he was going for. Right, so a lot of vibe in that, kind of makes the bass like real wavy sounding. And let's start popping in this vocal, you know? Like I want to hear some vocals. I know you guys want to hear some vocals, and I know like I have like this guitar in here as well, so let's start hearing it with the guitar, vocals, all that stuff.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me.
So this guitar is kind of like something I was working on a little bit earlier, and I just want to kind of compress it a little bit more. I feel like it needs to like lay back in the track a little bit more and soften up a little more. So let's mess around with this vibe here, and let's get that guitar sounding good.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood.
Okay, and then the next thing I want to do is this is going to a vocal mix bus. I'm going to just grab the vocal mix bus, which might be up here. Let me see. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's that at? Usually I put it right next to or on top of, but my guy set it up so I don't see it anywhere. So it doesn't look like he actually even put it in here, which is like pretty funny. So it's going to the vocal mix bus, which you don't see in the session. Marco, you're grounded. Just kidding. It's right here. You're not grounded. You saved the day, bro. All right. So I'm going here, vocal mix, and I'm just going to start to give the overall vibe of all the vocals the same kind of vibe, because I know there's doubles and stacks and all that stuff in here. So I'm just going to make sure that I I have like some housekeeping tools here that I really know I already want on here, basically. So Townhouse, bus compressor again finds its way. SSL is all this is, right? It's not like me saying like, oh, Townhouse is my plugin, bro. No, it's just like SSL like compressor. Who doesn't fucking love that compressor? It's incredible. All right. It's just smooth. Everything is amazing about it. 3 could actually work really well on this attack and a release of like 0.1 or 0.3. Really nice. And we'll just start to compress this and hold it together a little bit. And let's check it out.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had
Okay, and next thing I want to do on this is like, since he's already got Waves tune on it, you know, I'm not going to like mess around with their tune unless they were like, yo, I need you to really tune this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not touching someone's tuning unless they're really wanting tuning. Okay, so I want to get rid of some of this 400, 800, 700 kind of area. Just drive me nuts here.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me.
So I love how soft her vocal is. I think it's super, super dope. That's part of her tone. So I really don't want to fuck that up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like, oh, it needs like more brightness in it. No, it doesn't. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, if I popped a bunch of brilliance and like crispiness into this vocal, it would just be all sibilance. It would sound like shit. So instead, I'm going to use something that's going to be soft and it's going to make it sound more like a record instantly. And that's why everybody fucking uses it, is the TubeTech CL1B. Incredible. Either this 1176, both of those are going to be really great for this vocal.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all.
The trick to setting a compressor at any time, it doesn't matter what compressor it is to compress the crap out of it, right? Make sure you got a ratio going and you got threshold going, and then set the attack and release. So the attack, basically you're going to hear nah, 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 or you're going to hear and that means you're attacking too fast. So you want to find a nice middle point where it sounds soft and like it's attacking and it's squeezing and it's pumping at the right rhythm. That's what you're doing, right? That's why you really need to like, okay, you want to set the compressor, jack the ratio up. You don't even have to jack the ratio up. Just go 2-to-1 to 6-to-1 and then start jacking the threshold up, right? Meaning down really, and compress hard, like get to like 7 to 10 to 20 dB of compression, and then set your attack and release. Super important. All right, then you're gonna know like what the actual compressor is doing. we're just smoothing out the vocals. So when she says redwood, it's not going redwood. It's going redwood. I want to see them all dead. I want to see them all. Like you want to like give that vibe. You know what I mean? Like smooth it out. Now, there's compressors for compressing and being completely transparent, like the Tube Tech CL1B, and then there's compressors for tonality and giving vibe and stuff like that, like the LA2A, right, which is just going to give us a little bit of that cut and a little bit more vibe on some stuff, right? So LA2A is going to be Teletronics. And I really like the silver one. I think this is incredible. Or even the 3A. The 3A could be really cool. It's going to be a little softer. It's not going to give you that kind of like peak in that EQ, tube kind of saturation vibe, right? So let's hit this and let's give this another 3-5 dB. Let's check it out.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood.
So it just automatically gives you that like that. It's just gonna make it kind of cut, gives it kind of that peaky Lil Wayne kind of cut, right? That wheezy vibe, right? So that's what we're doing. If you turn this emphasis up, what it's gonna do is it's gonna say, hey, you're pushing more or letting through more of the high end, and that's gonna trigger the compression more on the high end, right? So then it becomes sort of like a high-end limiter, basically, right? If you back up off of it, you're going to get more of the vocal coming through, and you're going to get more high-end, right? So check this out.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Big amount, trigger stick. Dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name. Dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out.
So you can see like how much tone and how much EQ differences can make with just simple tweaks of the compressor. Like straight up, like people are like EQing their shit to death. But just like listen to these compressors. Just when I turn this emphasis knob, right, like on this rap verse, it's like really sharp, and too much, 1K to 2K, and then all of a sudden it's like nice and round and feels good and smooth, right? So check it out.
Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out.
Like, just simple stuff. Like, just let the compressor do the compressing of also, shifting the harmonic structure of the vocal rather than like you going and EQing the crap. Dude, there's a resonant frequency. Like, this is what I see in like the most ridiculous shit, right? Is like when I know someone doesn't know what the fuck they're doing is when it looks like this, right? And I see this with a bunch of YouTubers too. Like, it's like this. These frequencies are the worst, man. You got to really get rid of all these frequencies, right? You got to get rid of these frequencies. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know how to mix. Go learn how to use your ears, right? Like, you're over-processing everything, and it doesn't sound like a record anymore. It sounds like a robot spit out an algorithm, and, there's no soul to it, basically. So don't take the soul out of your records by over EQing the crap out of stuff because you don't know what you're doing. And you're like trying to listen really, really, people are sitting in rooms that aren't tuned using like HS5s, HS8s, Rockets, whatever. And they're sitting there like, I'm going to dissect this EQ. Like, you don't even know what you're hearing. The fuck you messing around? Why are you going crazy with that EQ, man? You can't even hear it. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what you're even listening to. You know what I'm saying? So, we're just going to pop in some of this stuff. I don't know why this says reverb on it. Yeah, I'm going to turn that off still. Slap there. And we got stutters, which would be cool. Let's hear that on the verses with the slap and the reverse reverb. See how I'm just like starting to pop in the vocals? It doesn't mean that I'm not going to treat these because I really need this high harmony. I really like this high harmony. I think it's really dope.
Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. I was out of Cali with a Rico at his mom's house. I ain't really stunning on a bitch, I'ma turn her out. Big amount, trigger steady snapping, she won't turn down. Big dog, daddy wasn't living, I'm a fucking hound. Big pound, smoking on some Cali while I'm in the city. It ain't really nobody I see that's in my competition. I ain't switching, looking in the mirror, they ain't fucking with me. Big bro, hopping out the back with a fully semen. I ain't never running from a bitch, tell him come and get me. I be with it, spray the whole block until the clip be on it. I done seen it all, get murder, one call. I done seen it all, they'll slime out your dog. I done seen it all, you was rich, now you down. Couple niggas steady throwing salt, I ain't with that. Really piss me off and knocking motherfucking shit back. Split, drop a big bag, tell him get that, hit that. You don't wanna play with the big splat. Big slime, pussy bitch with hating, tell him get time. All mine, I was on the grind, I ain't waste time. Red line, you don't wanna cross a fucking red line. Red dot, headshot, inframarine, red dot. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Redwood, I wanna see them all red. I wanna see them all dead. I had them around me. Shawty call my phone and I'm really getting ticked off. I don't understand why my name in a bitch mouth. Too many bands, drop a bag, then I dip out. I was.
See, so now I start paying attention to like the things that are in the vocal range that need to be cleared out of the vocal range. Remember, the vocal is the most important part of like basically every record, right? Like, I don't know what record is like, oh man, there's a rapper and a singer on this. Like, let's make sure those guitars are really on top of the vocals. Those guitars need to be the star, you know what I mean? Like, no, this is never going to be the case, right? So you can see, like, already kind of messed with that area. But we could do the same thing. We could use, like, something to duck out that area. Or we can just kind of, like, put it back a little bit more, right? Like, into a room. One thing I really like to do, like, let's do this before the shimmer, the Valhalla shimmer. Let's do, like, an ocean way. Just pop it in a studio, right? Really basic stuff. Just pop the guitar into a room. And let's do it with both guitars. Fuck it. Right? Because we're crazy. Crazy like that. Just, let's just put it in rooms, bruh. Like, just put the guitars in a room so it sounds like you're actually, like, you mic'd up a guitar and it sounds sick and, like, has a vibe. And people are like, yo, those live guitars are super sick. Right? So let's just go bam, and then same thing here, like after the compressor. And also I want to compress these guys, this other second guitar as well. So why not go bam, 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 and bring down this R comp. Sorry, this Ocean Way is like doing crazy math right now, you know what I'm saying? It's like insanity. All right, and then same thing here. I'm just going to bring the Ocean Way up here to the guitar. I can always, of course, make a bus, but dude, I'm being lazy. I have a 10-core iMac with 128 gigs of RAM. I'm just letting it do its work, bro. Like, spend a lot of money on a lot of gear, a lot of room tuning, all that stuff. So, using what I got. All right, let's go. Hey, you guys liking this, by the way? Like, I feel like, there's 15 people here watching this. There's only 10 thumbs up. There's like maybe 5 people have like commented some stuff. I don't know, like, what's up? You guys liking this? Because if not, I mean, I can just like cut this off. I'm actually gonna, probably get out of here pretty soon. But if you don't like this kind of stuff, let me know. I'll stop doing it. I'll stop sharing these sessions with you guys. No problem. Have no issue with that. All right. You got it, dude. I'm just fishing for compliments, you guys. It's dope. All right, Rod likes it. Akarshit Dureha. Dude, your name is so hard. I'm sorry. Philip likes it. Stream joints. He's I'm just watching. I forgot. Yeah, I get it. Just zoning out. No, thank you, Philip. Thanks for the love, dude. I like this. Just been watching the whole time. All right, cool. So we got JR. He's here. Okay, good. You just invited me. How you gonna stop? Hey, man. I didn't just invite you. You just checked your email. All right, cool. Cade likes it. All right, sick. So, I'm just mixing a record. This is actual client work that I'm just doing, and I figured I'd share this session with you guys and show you some stuff. But I don't need to do this, Very insightful. Okay, good. Tommy, that's what's up. Pillsbury Banks. Oh, love it. Okay, awesome. Kenny loves it. All right. Yep. Trey. Dope. Yep. All right. Let's get it. Let's get back into it. It's getting kind of warm in this room, so I might need to take a break too. Like I'll take an ear break probably about after an hour and a half of mixing, right? And then I'll do another hour and a half, and then I'll take an ear break, and then I'll finish the master. So I'm usually going to spend about 5 to 6 hours on the first pass of the mix and master. Send it to the client. The client might have some tweaks. I'll spend another couple hours, and then like each mix typically is going to take me about, actually, let's just do Q&A right now. I don't really want to keep going on this because, I know like you guys probably have questions about mixing, mastering, whatever. Like I just want to answer your questions right now, and spend a little time with you guys because why not, right? Also, by the way, when I'm mixing and mastering, I actually use a specific chair for mixing and mastering. And it's made for mixing and mastering. And it cost me about $850. So it's not like a crazy expensive chair, but it is a nice chair. And it's literally directly made for listening. There's no back, you notice, like my other brown one, right? Because I'm trying to listen to everything. And I'm trying to get like in the zone. And I'm trying to get stereo space, all that stuff. JR, that's what's up. Man, I appreciate that, dude. $5 goes a long way, you guys. Gets me more coffee, gets more mixes done, and yeah, I really appreciate that. Makes me want to do more of these lives as well. Because I really, it's hard for me to want to do these free stream lives when I could be finishing this mix a lot quicker without like talking through it. So I appreciate that. All right, so Lance, what's up? What's up? All right, this sounds real good. Watching officially a real learning session. Great. Okay, Philip, very cool, awesome. $800 isn't expensive? No, it's not. $800 is not expensive for something that is probably, I'd say maybe you're in your top 5 most important tools in the studio is your chair. You know, especially when you produce, mix, master, you sit down for, I'd say I sit down for 5 to 10 hours a day on this chair or the other chair. That other chair actually is a $3,500 chair. That's expensive for a chair. So that's my producing chair. That's my, oh man, I'm going to just keep working, right? Yeah, you got to invest in a good chair, man. Absolutely. Okay, you suck at mixing kicks. Okay, so kicks are really, it's about picking the right sound, right? Don't fuck around. Like pick the right sound. Pick the right kick that fits the track, fits the vibe, and use compression and use parallel compression to get thickness in your kick. And that's really going to be, yeah, it's going to be big. That's going to be a big one for your kicks. Pillsbury Banks, $100 for $800 for a chair. That chair gonna make me mix sound like yours. Count me in. Well, hey man, it'll put more time. Put your ass more time in the studio, sitting in front of the speakers and learning, man, and working and spending the time on the mixes and spending the time learning the software and spending the time listening. You know, and if you sit down in a chair and your ass is sore or your back hurts, do you think you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be thinking about EQing or compressing or getting the sound right? Like, no, you're gonna be like, oh man, my back, you know. And at a profession, listen guys, I'm not saying everyone go out and get an $800 chair. If you think I'm saying that, you're crazy. I make a living off this, you know, so I make money doing this, so I have to have the tools that help me create more business and more art, right? Fast, efficient, but also like pain-free, right? Same thing with lighting and like having a vibe in your room. You know, this room's got 2 windows. I live in LA and Hollywood, so it's like, you know, I got nice natural light coming in. You got to be happy. You got to feel good when you're making your art. It's really, really important. You want to spend more time making your art because you're enjoying it. You know, that's a massive thing for what we do. So, but yeah, you guys got any questions about mixing, mastering, production, anything like that? I'm here to answer those questions. You know, same thing with like air, right? Like air conditioning or heating. If you're like sweating or you're like too cold, you're too hot, you're hungry, like you're just not going to do your best work. That's really the truth. And I'm 37 years old. I think when I was like 18, 19, like whatever, I could fucking make music wherever, do whatever. But by the time you're 37, you're like, I need to be comfortable. I need to not be worried about that shit. I got to work on a mix that someone's paying me $500 for. I need to take care of it. I need to make sure I'm comfortable. I can spend the time on it. I can give them something that they're going to be absolutely proud of, that they can go monetize, build a career off of, you know? Good question, Cade. Do you mix on headphones at all? No, I don't. But I do check on headphones. I've been using these monitors, these Focal SM9s for a good decade. So I know them really, really well. I've been mixing in this room for just a little over a year, so I know this room really well. You know, I've now mixed probably, you know, close to 100 mixes, masters in here. I mean, tracks, like, you know, I've learned the room. I've tuned the room myself. I'm very in touch with all that stuff. I have a degree in sound. So, you know, I understand acoustics, I understand psychoacoustics, all that stuff. So I don't find a massive need for headphones. Plus, most of the stuff I'm mixing has sub frequencies, which headphones are just not going to do justice. These Focal SM9s go down to 30 hertz is where they start to roll off. So they really probably get down to 20 hertz where I'm hearing, even 20 hertz sub frequencies. So yeah, headphones, I use them to check. I'll check like certain things like, oh man, is that too much sibilance? Is that reverb too much or is it too little? I'll check in the headphones. Stereo placement, sometimes I'll check in headphones as well. Okay, so here we go. So my room is not treated, lots of reverb, and that's why I mix on headphones. Any suggestions for that? Yeah, so a good suggestion for that is to pick up SonarWorks. All right, SonarWorks reference software and tune your headphones, right? So what you can do is you can get this software that's pretty good at tuning your headphones and flattening out the curve of your headphones. And it's not like super affordable, but it's a pretty good deal. And I think that it's really great for Reference ID software calibrates your speakers and studio headphones. So what it does is it basically takes your headphones that may be like AKGs, maybe Shure, whatever, and it'll actually tune an EQ curve to your headphones, which you can then turn on that EQ curve that flattens out the headphones. And then when you're mixing and mastering in your headphones, which I recommend if you don't have a treated room or you don't have like some nice monitoring, you don't know the room, it's not you're not hearing down to the sub frequencies, just get that software, a decent pair of headphones, and just work off headphones. Take a lot of ear breaks when you're using headphones for sure. That's super, super important. All right, so that's a little cheat code for you guys. Do you mix with headphones at all? Yes, I mix with headphones. Like I said, I check stuff, but I don't mix with them now. What does that say? I heard some people say it's better on mixing headphones because it traps your ears or something. No, that's bullshit. I don't know where you heard that. Probably from some YouTuber. No. Headphones are good for checking stuff. Headphones are good for getting like specific, like hearing like reverb tails, delays, problem frequencies. When you really want to just like put stuff under a microscope and you don't have a really quiet tuned room, then yeah, headphones are better, I think, than speakers in a shitty room that's open, like in a bedroom or something. You're not gonna get good results from that. When you stack hook vocals, they phase a lot. Okay. I don't know the question there. Sounds like a statement to me. When I go running, I get tired, dude. Justin, it's the Focusrite headphones good because what did you say? It's the Focusrite headphones good because that's the headphone sign makes with something. I don't know what you're saying there, bro. Yeah, a trick for that, for them to sound less robotic. Are you using a bunch of auto-tune? I mean, that's going to be a big part of it. Open ear are best for mixing versus closed. Open back headphones, it depends. I think more so the quality of the headphone matters more than whether they're closed back or open back. That's the short answer there. Okay. Open back headphones will supposedly give you better and smoother, flatter bass frequency response. Okay. But that is not always the case, right? If you get open back headphones that are like $100 compared to closed back headphones that are, $500 and like just way better, right? Better drivers, everything. Like, no, it doesn't matter, right? So it's just depends on what kind of headphones they are. Oh, gotcha. I mix with the Focusrite. Okay, so Focusrite is spelled Focusrite, and it's one word. And I was like, I mix with the Focusrite? Headphones is that good? Like, I'm like, what are you saying, Justin? Focusrite headphones are pretty shit, I'll be honest with you. Yo, what's up, Max? How you doing, man? Good to see you in here. JR, you usually sober. I'm on the edge of going sober for a while to become more productive. Yes, I am 100% sober. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I drink on very, very special occasions, but yeah, I'm always sober, dude. Like, you can't mix records, run a business, produce records, do sync licensing, run e-commerce, do live mix events on YouTube, make enough money to make a living in the music industry if you're not sober. Most of the people that are like running around high and drunk all the time in the music industry, they don't make their money off music. They're overspending their budget on their advances, and they're selling weed, and they're, you know, doing cryptocurrency. I don't know. They're not making money in music. So yeah, you got to be sober. You got to be really, really fucking focused. But that's not to say like I don't get in a writing session and smoke a little weed, right? Like make a record, cook up a record, and have a beer or two. Like why not? You know, it just depends. Like, but being a mixing engineer, you have to stay pretty sober, dude. Like, you have to stay sober because when you drink or you smoke, your ears will get tight, right? Even just this, like coffee, like it'll tighten up your ears. It'll restrict your blood vessels, which can fuck up my mixes, right? It can compress my ears. And I have to be really careful about that because my clients depend on my ears. My ears are my biggest tool to all of this stuff. My ears are like, they're my money maker, you know? But they're also like the thing I love the most is like creating art and making great music. So, can you listen to my mix and give feedback? I can if you're part of the mentoring group. I'll do that for you. But I don't really do that anymore. I do that, maybe I'll do on Saturday. Like I'll do a live review session. So if you upload your music in time and I get to you, yeah. I just don't have time to sit around and review people's music, you know. I used to mix on Sennheiser H600s. They were awesome. Yeah, I like that. I like those headphones, man. Those are great headphones, especially the open back ones. Justin, it's all good, dude. Don't even worry. Don't trip. Yeah, so, you know, you got to make sacrifices for your dreams. Everybody does. You know, the biggest thing that people are afraid to make a sacrifice of is they're afraid to spend their money because they feel like they can't ever make their money back, or they don't, you know, they won't invest money in professionals, in music mentoring, and in master classes, in joining groups, in joining challenges. They won't invest money in a mix engineer, a mastering engineer, someone to help them co-produce on something. And they sit around for years and years and years and try to figure all this stuff out by watching YouTube videos. And like, you just get older. You guys don't get better. Like, you're not gonna win that way. You know, like if you want to win and you want to play at an elite level, you invest your money into mentoring, you invest your money into professionals, and you make the best music you possibly can for the best chance. And then you just invest as much as you possibly can. And you borrow the money and you believe in yourself, right? And the more you do it, the more you believe in yourself because you get confidence because you fail, but then you get back up, right? And if you fail and you decide like, oh, that didn't work when I paid that one professional and they fucked me over, and then you never do it again, well, then you're never going to grow. You're going to be stuck in a position where you're like, well, I'm not making any money off my music still, and it's been 4 years, and I got all these excuses. Like, I see it all the time. It's 98% of people that want to get into music. They don't invest their money. They don't know where to invest their money. They decide they're going to go buy a bunch of gear that they don't know how to use, a bunch of plugins because they saw me mixing with these plugins, right? Like, you guys, I have a business. My business pays for these plugins. My business pays for my computer, right? Don't go spending your money on gear and plugins and all this shit unless your major end goal is to do what I'm doing and be a professional mixing or mastering engineer, right? Then yeah, invest a little bit and learn. Invest a little bit in plugins and learn. And you know, that's what it is. See, and this is right here. This is like a testament straight up from Lauren, you know. Like, he started investing in Radium mentoring. You know, he's been in our group. We do challenges. I do Zoom calls weekly, and I was kind of slacking on that for a while, but we're back in that every Wednesday, 6:30. And, you know, I'm just trying to help people, man. Like, you guys don't understand, like, when someone pays $30 a month to be in a mentoring group, that doesn't pay for anything for my business. That pays for me to get in there and spend a couple hours every week to help people. That's it. That's all it pays for. All right, like it's just funny. Like people on the internet, they have this idea or this thought in their head that like people that ask for money for things in the music industry are like trying to rip you off or run a scam on you. Like motherfuckers, I have Grammy, Oscar, Emmy nominated work, Cannes Film Festival work. I've worked on movies that have grossed billions of dollars, not millions, billions. I've worked on commercials that have grossed millions of dollars. Like, what the fuck do I care about your $30 a month? Like, come on. Everybody's like, oh, you're trying to pull one over. You send me these emails trying to get me to buy something. I don't give a fuck if you buy something or not. What I care about is finding the people that are willing to invest a little bit of money. And then I can see, oh, they actually give a shit. They want to learn something. Now, what if I can help them get to the next step? Oh, they want to invest a little bit more. I can help them more. It's basic goddamn principles. But for some reason, people all over the internet, oh, they're trying to rip me off. They're trying to sell me on some bullshit. No, you're just fucking scared. You don't believe in yourself. You're a pussy, and you've never spent your money or invested it wisely. So you think like, oh, I'm just going to fuck up again and spend it on something that's not going to do shit for me. It's not that that thing doesn't do shit for you. It's that you're not doing shit. You're not putting in the work. You're not listening to the mentor. You're thinking that the person's trying to rip you off all the time. It's like, get a fucking life. But I'm serious though. Like I'm not trying to like sit here and rant, but at the end of the day, it's like no professional in this industry that offers mentoring or offers like packs or anything is trying to get over on you. Like get the fuck over that shit. Like when you see people like songwriters, Grammy winners, stuff like that are offering you like their experience and tutorials, you pay for it. You don't go, oh, they're trying to make money because they're washed up. They're this, they're that. No, that's you making excuses. You need to fucking change your attitude is what you need to do. Yeah, Rod, I'll give you the link to the mentor group, man. Like I want real people though. Like I'm actually going to start, I'm going to start doing this off of a, basically, I'm going to do this off of a application process because I'm tired of people joining my mentoring group and then fucking coming in and not doing any work. And then like, it's just stupid and it pisses me off because like, I really like, I'm trying to teach people what I've learned in the last 21 years doing this. And they're like, oh dude, I'm not going to show up to your Zoom calls and I got other stuff to do. And do you have any more plugin presets? Like y'all got to learn the real fucking business and the real game. You know, and learn from people that have done it. Like, stop going on YouTube and learning from YouTubers. Every YouTuber out there is just trying to sell you on a course, you know. Like, and then if you click that link in my description, you're going to get my course that I'm going to teach you the real stuff. It's like, no, you're not. You just taught us everything on YouTube. Everything you know, you taught on YouTube. And you're trying to monetize your fucking marketing, you know. That's why I stopped doing YouTube so much. Like we're actually backing off on it because I don't want to be tutorials all the time. Like I'll get in here and I'll show you guys real mix sessions. I'll show you guys real shit that I'm working on and I'll answer your questions. But dude, at the end of the day, like I'm just so tired of all the people just wanting to get free everything. And then none of them want to like actually use it or take action on any of it, right? Like they're like, I want to watch all your tutorials and then I want to tell you about how, you know, you missed the fact that this plugin has this button on it. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm making money. I'm like trying to make records. I'm trying to make art and I'm trying to create a difference in the music world and help people that want that same thing. That's it. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming through and hopefully you learned a lot with this. I'm not going to have a replay available for this, but here's the big but. I am going to save this video and this little mix tutorial, I guess you can call it a tutorial, really just like a live mix session. I'm going to save this video and I'm going to share it with my mentor group so that they can learn from it, right? Because they're the ones that actually care enough to pay a little bit and put the money into it, into their invest in their music career and learn this stuff. It's not going to be on YouTube. I can't do that because first of all, this is a real client piece of work and I don't want to be putting it out in the public if I don't have their permission, but I will put it in the mentoring group and you guys in the mentoring group will always have access to everything. I'm not going to be hiding much from you guys. Okay. So I really appreciate you guys coming through. Hey, of course, Lauren, I'm always happy to share stuff with people that give a shit. All right, you guys have a good night. I got to go on a run now. Peace, guys.